Hello friends! So for today's teaching, I'm going to reverse engineer something for you so you can see how I can do it. So I really like on a soft swept updo, kind of like this is, we have the front that's really soft going back. It follows the line of the hair. There's no delineations between the top and the side, and it looks really effortless and smooth. But the problem can come is if you don't know how to lock this in so it lasts all night for brides without it flattening against the head or losing some of that like soft urethral look, because it's really nice and loose, but it's very, very secure. So I'm just gonna reverse engineer and show you how I do this. So first of all, I have this secured in multiple places along the whole strand section of this hair, okay? And what I've done over the top is I have a lot of texture spray in this piece, and so I'm able to pull it out and kind of stretch it. And what that does is it gives me some flexibility to create some fullness with even the front pieces of hair over the top. And what the great thing about that is you can use that to cover any bobby pins or anything that you need to fill in the back when you're pulling back the front of your updo. And then I also have a little bit of end here, which I can use as a detail piece just to hang out, or I could pin this again, kind of like I have this first loop pinned, and this also can be fanned out because there's a texture spray in it and create a little more depth. But that's how I would have the back, so I showed you that, but I really want to show you how I locked in that front. So I've only got one bobby pin right here, and for this bobby pin, I have it totally gripping the whole section of this hair. And so by gripping all of it, I can make sure I have enough span of hair to fan out if I need to. And then I use this pin like so to push into the top of the updo, and I know it's gonna be very secure in there when I push it down. But it holds this whole piece, which helps not bring a lot of tension into it by having multiple bobby pins in here. So if I take that one out and I let this go, you can see this is still holding up. So it's not totally staying, but it's staying pretty well because I have other bobby pins in here as well. So my next pin is right under here, and that is holding in a little bit more. And I have done a push pinning technique on this. And so a push pin, so you can see it's flat against the head as I kind of work this out, and then more falls. But what I did is when this strand is twisted up like so, I grab the hair, so I'm not putting the hair into it before I start. I'm not opening this bobby pin. I go toward the scalp, and then I push it toward her face. And what that does is it locks in some of the strands here and pushes into the scalp so it's hidden, but it doesn't lose any of the volume on the side, and I can still work with it and pull hair out and make it have that soft effect. And so what I do actually along this whole strip is do as many of these push pinning techniques as I need to. So this drops, but you can see it's still held up a little bit because I still have another one of these bobby pins in here. So here it is. I did the same thing. I did the same push pinning technique. And now you can see we dropped all the way. But if I would take this whole section and only secure it back here, you have risk of drooping, you have risk of gapping right here where you see space in there, and the bride doesn't feel like it's as secure. I've had many times where the brides are like, oh, I really like how this looks, but it doesn't feel tight. And I can assure them that it is tight with these bobby pins, but it's just the technique that I'm using that makes it look nice and loose. And then it gives you the ability to really kind of fan out the hair here because of that texture spray. So depending on how thick it is, you go through and do this 3 or 4 times before you get to the back. And then you can do the grip pinning technique where you actually grab the hair and pin it in. And if you're finding that this is just too heavy, you can do the same technique, just divide it in half, twist, and do the same thing. Now the other lovely thing about this grip pinning technique is if you go through and you do that, and then she looks at it and she's like, can you bring this up a little higher, a little tighter? You can use these pins to pull the hair back, so you actually pull back a little bit and then push forward, and that locks it in a little bit tighter and flatter against the head so you don't have as much volume. And if they want a little more volume, you can just pull it out gently with your fingers, and you know it's still gonna be secure because you have all those bobby pins going in. So that is my technique for softly bringing up a side sweep on a loose, kind of whimsical updo. if you like this, I really think that you would benefit from my boot camp. It's coming up this summer. It's gonna be 6 weeks and chock full of Updo foundation stuff. So we're talking pinning techniques, products, how to do back combing, how to do glam waves, all different kinds of curl techniques, pinning techniques, you name it, we got it in there to really launch your career in doing updos and bridal hair, or just to refine if you feel like you're decent at updos but you'd like to get better. This bootcamp is for you. So I put a link in the comments and you can get more information there while they're on sale. The tickets to join that are on sale through the end of May, and then the price will go up there. But if not, just keep hanging out here, watching my free YouTube channels. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week.